So, in the today's tutorial, we will be actually having a quick look at the particular validation methods performed on a particular dataset. So yeah, we are here with this particular blog post which actually introduces us with various methods of validation of a particular dataset. This includes 5 methods. First one is actually hold out validation, another one is actually k-fold cross validation, then we have stratified k-fold cross validation, then we have the lever knot cross validation, and then we have the repeated random train test splits. So we will be using these methods to actually validate our data. So how to actually get started? This particular blog post is actually based on the PIMA dataset, and we are also provided with the particular dataset on the Google Drive. I will actually mention the link in the video description, and I will also mention this particular link in the video description too. So what we will doing is that we will just following out this particular code, and this particular code is actually running on logistic regression, and we have to do the same on decision tree classifier, right? And we have to perform the similar or same 5 tests, and we have to actually get out with our results. So that's the basic aim of our today's tutorial. So yeah, going ahead, firstly we will actually upload that particular data file into our Google Colab here when it's actually get connected to the runtime, or you can also upload it to your drive, and then you can mount drive with this particular button, and then you can then copy the path of that particular data set by clicking on that particular folder and right click, and then you have to copy the path, and then you have to use that particular path here where we are actually reading that particular data with pandas.readcsv function. So here we are importing all the modules which are actually mentioned in that particular blog post, which are necessary to do the respective functionality or to perform the respective functions, or say validation or maybe training, test and split. So these are all the modules which are, or say classes which are needed or say necessary to be imported. And in addition to those, we will import decision tree classifiers also, and we can remove the logistic regression because we are not doing the stuff on logistic regression. Instead we are doing on the decision tree classifier. So how to actually import it? Decision tree classifier is actually inside sklearn.tree module, and we can import it in this manner, that is from sklearn.tree import decision tree classifier, and the rest of the import statement will be same as what are actually mentioned in the blog post. Then when we are actually reading our file, we will read it with pandas.readcsv, and as you might have noticed, I've already imported pandas as PD. Then we are actually having a look at our data set, that how our data actually looks like. So we can use the head function to actually print out the first 5 records, and tail function to print out the last 5 records of our data set. So we can actually have a look that it is actually related to diabetes, and here are the particular factors which might be leading to diabetes in a particular sense, and there might be some particular configuration which might be leading to diabetes, and that's that was the main aim of a particular classifier to find out through its weight settled. So we have the output column in the outcome, and the 1 actually indicates that the person has diabetes, and 0 actually indicates that the person is not having diabetes. Now we are actually now having a look at the various properties of our dataset by using the describe function, and transpose just transposes this particular matrix, and yeah, we are actually describing our dataset by in the form of say mean, min, max and other stuffs, and these are actually the percentiles 25, 50 and 75, which you might have also seen in the box plots. So this just actually explains your dataset and actually shows you a bit of insight that how the dataset is actually varying, and what are the minimum and the maximum values in your dataset, and what's the mean value in your dataset. So if you want to actually have a quick insight about your dataset, then you can actually have it from here. Now we are actually separating the x and the y values. So firstly we will actually get the x values by dropping the outcome column from the whole dataset. So what we will be left? We will be actually left with only these particular columns, and will be not including the outcome column. So this whole will become the x, and this outcome column will actually become y. So yeah, we are actually dropping through column vertical axis, so we are actually supplying x is equal to 1, and then we are getting the values, means we are actually getting the directly the values, and then using them and assigning them to x1, and then we are actually getting the outcome column into y1. and its value. So it actually the values function actually gives you a numpy array. Otherwise I think you will get a data frame. Okay, then we have actually used the model selection modules train test place function, as I have mentioned also earlier also, that model selection actually contains a function that is train test place, which actually splits your whole data into training and test sets. So what we are doing is that we are actually keeping 30% for the test size and the rest 70% for the training size, and the random state is actually set to 100. Right, in this way you are actually splitting your data into train and test set, and the return values are actually x for train and x for test, and y for train and y for test. In this way the train test place actually returns you the values. Then firstly, for the first approach we are actually using the holdout method. Now in brief, the holdout method does is what? It actually calculates the accuracy just by one train test plate. Remember, one train test plate, not again and again. You are actually just fitting your model once by just splitting it into two portions, that is actually train and test portions, and then you actually calculate the accuracy by using model's score method. Now behind the scenes, from what I know, the model.score method also calls the sklearn's accuracy score method, so with the same parameter, that is x test and y test being passed. So yeah, it actually calls the same method accuracy score from behind the scenes, so you are actually in turn calculating the accuracy score. But yes, you can also directly call from model.score, so it's also fine. You don't need to import the accuracy score from sklearn here. So what you will need, firstly you will actually pass the x train and y train values to actually fit the model, and then to test you have to actually pass the x test and y test values. Right, with the x test it will actually predict the particular labels according to x values, and then with the y test it will be actually checking with those predictions that whether the predictions are right or wrong, and then it will return you the accuracy. Now if you remember, accuracy is actually the correct prediction out of total predictions, or say total samples, or say total data points which are tested. Now you have the k-fold. Then in the second method of validation we are actually using k-fold. Now the further section will actually include some particular format of these validation which are actually performing multiple times of validation like k-fold. So this will actually follow a particular pattern which I will actually explain. Firstly, you will need to initialize your parameters in the k-fold, that how many splits you want, and other parameters also. So in this particular blog post, a random state is equal to 100 is also mentioned, but it was actually creating some error. So while you're actually using k-fold, you will just remove that random state to 100, because by default the k-fold is actually with shuffle is equal to false. So if it is actually not shuffling the values, then why to use a random state? Because random state is in turn used to shuffle the values. Shuffle the values in turn means that it is actually randomly picking the data points into training and test sets, and to actually fix them in a particular order for a particular session, you actually use random state with a fixed value. And if you are not shuffling even, then you don't need that. So in brief, you will just need to supply the number of splits in k-fold method. Now in the k-fold also comes in that particular module, that is model selection, and as you might have remembered, model selection is the same module from where we have actually imported train test plate. And to make you remember, the model selection also comes under sklearn. So yeah, sklearn has model selection, and model selection has k-fold, and model selection has also train test plate yet. Now as you have initialized your parameters, and then you actually get those initialized value, you can just remember in such a way that you have to first initialize the parameters with the number of splits you want, and you will use that you will supply that parameter inside the model selection.k-fold, and then you will keep the value in k-fold as a variable. Then we have to actually initialize our decision tree classifier. We will just do that simply without any parameters being changed. We will use the default decision tree classifier. So yeah, I will actually take that particular model and take it into this particular variable. Then we have to actually use the cross-val score, and then here we have to actually supply that which method we want to actually use, and that will be actually supplied in the CB parameter with that particular variable in which your parameters are actually initialized. Now here you have actually initialized the k4, so CV will actually contain the k4, and that's why it will actually perform the cross validation score with the number of splits you have actually mentioned here. So this model selection dot cross validation score actually takes 4 parameters. Firstly, you have the model which you have initialized. The second is actually X, that is whole data set. You don't have to pass the train or test because it will actually do it by on. And then you have to actually pass the Y values, and this is also whole data set, not any train test split, or say not a subset. And then at the last you will actually supply the method you want to follow, and the method you want to follow will be actually supplied in the form of a variable which you have actually initialized here. And then it will actually returns you a particular score, and then that's actually a mean of all the accuracies, because as you might have known that the k-fold actually runs the particular decision tree classifier training n number of times, and the n is actually mentioned here. So it will actually get you, now you want to get the mean of all those accuracies, and that's why you will actually get the mean by using this mean function from that result k-fold, which is actually storing all the results which you have got from cross validation score, k-fold cross validation. Then we have the certified k-fold cross validation. Here nothing will change. You will actually initialize your decision tree classifier, then you have the model selection dot cross validation score. Firstly you will supply model, then X value whole dataset, Y value whole dataset. But here in the CV parameter, you will actually, CV means cross validation, you will actually supply the SK fold, and the SK fold is actually stratified K fold. Now what's the difference between K fold cross validation and stratified K fold cross validation? The stratified K fold cross validation actually aims to get the output labels in a particular ratio rather than just splitting randomly. So it actually aims at actually getting the same ratio of the 1 labels and getting the same ratio of the 0 labels in the particular split. Then we have the leave one out cross validation. Now leave one out cross validation score actually is another type of cross validation score in which your every data point serves as a test point and the rest of the points actually serve as a train point. So you can actually imagine in such a way that the k4 with the value, that is a k value equal to the size of your data set, is actually leave one out. Now here also you actually follow the similar pattern, that you initialize the decision tree classifier, then you have the cross validation score. The first argument is actually model LOCV, what is the model you have actually initialized. The second is actually x1, third one is actually y1, that is your whole data set, and the fourth parameter actually comes out to be CV is equal to LOCV. Now LOCV is actually leave one out with a no parameter initialized, because here you don't need to actually initialize the number of splits you want to do, because it is by default actually getting the size, means n split here is actually equal to the length of your data set, means the number of records. Now here every point will actually serve as a test point, and the rest other than the single point will actually serve as a training set, and in this way it will actually test with every of the point. Now the last one but not the least, we are actually using the repeated random train splits. Here what is actually happening is that we have this is actually a kind of a combination of say train test split which we have actually studied in the start, and then it's also it's actually a combination of the k-fold and the random train test split, and that's actually the last option with us. So here also the pattern followed is same. You actually initialize your model, and then you actually give the first parameter as the model, second is x1, then y1, and then you have the CV parameter to be this one, which is actually your initialized cross validation scores particular instance. Like here you actually call the model selection dot shuffle split with the number of splits equal to 10, that is you want to do 10 splits, and then here as I have mentioned earlier that it is actually a combination of the k-fold, that's why you are actually supplying the n splits is equal to 10, and also the combination of the train test splits, and that's why you actually need to supply the test size, and then it's actually 0.3, means you have the 30% in your test set, and then you also need to supply the random state equal to 100, because here we are actually doing the things with random, we are actually shuffling the data, and that's why you actually need to supply 100, so that on every run of this particular Colab notebook it will actually give me the same set and in turn the same accuracy. and then you can just print out the particular accuracy by using the result, this particular variable dot mean, because it will also give you the average out score or average out accuracy score from all those which you have got. So that was actually the basis of, or say basic of the validation or say cross validation along with holdout method. And thank you for watching.